Okay, it's about 5 p.m. Pacific time on what's today, Wednesday, August 27th. And I just got out of my second meeting for the day. And in 25 minutes, I have a third meeting. It, however, is something that I want to talk about, but kind of vaguely. I think a lot of us are really struggling with feeling isolated, even those of us in blue bubbles. If we are concerned about democracy, if we are fighting for our rights, for the rights of our neighbors, it can be a really lonely, isolating slog, especially if you live somewhere where there are not a lot of like-minded folks around you. And even for me in blue Portland, Oregon, I have a lot of friends who are real checked out. They think that my content is a little bit nuts. They think that I am being dramatic. And either that or they understand the gravity of what's happening now, but they're just like too tired. They're too checked out. They say it's too hard on my mental health. It's too hard on my heart to bear witness to what's happening. So I'm just going to keep my head down and try to live my life. I'm really stressed out and I can't deal with any more on top of what I've already got. I also have a couple of friends who've become incredibly nihilistic. Well, the world is ending. Of course, we're all doomed. Everything's terrible. I'm just going to give up. And I struggle to have conversations with those folks right now. I struggle to interact with them. I still love them. I still care about them very much, but it just feels like we're talking past each other and we don't have a lot of common ground, and the conversations that we have are really frustrating. This is one of the reasons that I'm such a big fan of Indivisible, going to all of their meetings, being really involved with my chapter. I'm on the safety team, and the folks in that group are just like excellent people. But I also look forward to not just the protests, but our regular meetings, either our business meetings where we maybe do a training or we talk about what's on the calendar and do planning for other events, or like the meeting that we're going to have for East Portland Indivisible tomorrow night, which is like a Crafters Against Fascism, right? We're working on making signs for the protests that are happening this weekend. By the way, if you are interested in attending a protest near you, go to maydaystrong.org. For Labor Day, there are unions and labor groups all over the country that are having events, and hundreds of other organizations are supporting them and joining with them to put on protests and community gatherings and parties around the country. What the Trump regime is doing is attempting to cement the control of the oligarchy and to strip working class people of our rights. The Republicans have worked hard since the beginning. Well, they've worked at it for a long time, but especially since the beginning of the year, at pulling back worker protections, workers' rights. Now is a time when we've all got to learn about the labor movement if we don't already know about it. Now is a time when the labor movement is really getting back to its roots. We're understanding how important it is for working class people to organize. The super wealthy are not our friends, y'all. They just want to exploit us. They want to pollute the environment, maximize their profit, and maximize our suffering. If you are involved in the pro-democracy movement, connect with the labor organizing folks where you live. Connect with the labor movement, because we are all joined together in this fight. We all can and should be in solidarity with each other. So anyway, sorry to go off on that tangent. Okay, go to maydaystrong.org, find a protest near you. Okay, so I'm really a big fan of going to indivisible groups, because that's where I find like-minded people who not only have the same understanding of what's happening right now, that this is a really difficult time in our history and we have to organize and we have to push back, that what's happening is not okay, it's not normal. Folks at Indivisible are not minimizing how bad it is, but they're also not apathetic, they're not giving up. Instead, they're just like me, motivated to do something about it, for us regular everyday Americans to reclaim our power and to get our country back from the fascists. And then beyond that, to like create a better tomorrow, create a better America, because what we had before was like clearly not working and led us to where we are right now. So part of the reason I love hanging out with those folks, we talk about what we dream of for a better America. We talk about the things that we hope to create going forward, the kind of people care and community care, the kind of society that we all deserve. And I get so much hope from that, right? I'm doing good. I'm actively working to combat fascism, but it's also good for me personally. I get a personal benefit out of it. It's really, really good for my mental health. And here in a couple of minutes, I'm going to be going to a call with some other folks who do the same kind of work I do, right? Other creators who really care about democracy and understand the struggles of what our job is, what it's like to make the kind of content that we make and engage with the public the way that we do, and also like how really exhausting this job is. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it's really hard to comb through all of the awful news every day. I spend a lot of time reading through news stories and watching videos of what's happening in this country, but it's so crucial that we continue to bear witness. But it does take an emotional toll to spend day in and day out, sifting through all of this information and then deciding, okay, I only have so many hours in the day. There are a million different things I should be covering, that it's so important for people to know what's happening. And now I have to prioritize and pick and choose. And at the same time, not be demoralized by what I am witnessing on a daily basis. And then it's really difficult to interact with doomers who are trying to tell you all hope is lost. Why are you doing this? Give up, we're cooked. And on top of that, to deal with Trumpers who just have the most hateful, vitriolic things that they are anxious to say about you and about vulnerable people. I think for me, that's one of the hardest things about the work that I do now, is on a regular basis having to interact with so many people who are my fellow Americans, who just have an absolutely different reality that they operate in, who have completely divorced themselves from their empathy, their compassion, their humanity. It's difficult for me. That I think is one of the biggest struggles that I have, is realizing that so many more people were so much more cruel and selfish and brainwashed than I previously thought. So to be able to have a chance here in a couple minutes to go chat with other creators and offer support to them, I think is it's something that I really need. And I'm really hopeful that we can all help each other out, right? We understand the unique position that we're in, and we can support each other so that we have longevity in this cause. So as I've been looking forward to this meeting all day, not that I didn't have other good meetings before, I've connected with so many good people today, y'all. Both locally and people who live all the way across the country. I've had meetings with just really wonderful people who deeply care about the most vulnerable, who deeply care about making a better America. I'm gonna get choked up. But I just wanted to encourage you, whatever you can do to seek out connection with other people who understand the severity of the moment and maybe understand the struggles that you have. Like, now is a time that we need each other, and we need those relationships. We need to be able to lean on each other, to commiserate, and to also to draw courage from each other, right? I really appreciate Kamala Harris is like, courage is contagious. It absolutely is. Not to be like all Hunger Games, but fire is catching, courage is catching. And if we're going to keep going in this, the answer to everything that we're experiencing right now is community. The answer to everything that we are going through is community. Being able to forge those relationships, focusing hyper-local, focusing with people who understand that it's our connection. That is the place where we derive our power, where we derive our strength, where we are able to not only endure, but to create systems where we can prosper. So crucial. So I just want to encourage you, if you're feeling very alone, if you're feeling very isolated, reach out to your grassroots groups. Even if it's just joining Indivisible to get on the weekly What's the Plan call, there's one tomorrow. It's every Thursday at noon Pacific. You can sign up and just sit in a space with 5,000-10,000 other people and just draw courage from that energy that's on that Zoom call. Or find your local grassroots groups, find your local protest. The other week when I was down on the Central Oregon coast, I was talking with a woman who said that her son is a disabled Iraq war veteran, and he lives like in Lincoln City, which is where my third kid was born, by the way. And he decided he was just gonna, all on his own, sit out there by the highway and put out a sign protesting the cuts that the Trump regime was making to the VA, the way they fired tens of thousands of veterans who work for the federal government, and the way that they're cutting veterans' benefits. All on his own. He was like, I'm going to do this. And people just started joining him, just organically. Community will find you if you care about democracy, but gosh, like, take a risk and reach out to that community. So that man is sitting there by himself, and like total strangers were like, can I come join you? Can I come participate in what you're doing? And they have a protest. I forget if she said it was every day or every week, but like 6 or 8 people get together and they have their little cluster of support for each other, and they are willing to stand up against what's happening. And I just want to encourage you, find those folks. We are everywhere. The resistance is everywhere in this country. It may not feel like it if you live in a deep Trumper, community that's just like absolutely as red can be. Those folks are there. They may feel like they have to hide a little bit. They may feel like it's not safe for them to speak out. But the more of us that rise up and come to the forefront, the more we can find each other. We need each other. We need community. We need those connections to get through this. Local, online, wherever you can seek out support, do it. You are not required to save democracy on your own. You're not required to get through this all by yourself. You deserve to have support, and you deserve to be surrounded by community.